Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust. We are the independent agency of Miami-Dade County charged with overseeing your half-penny sales tax for transportation and the implementation of the People's Transportation Plan, which was approved by the voters in 2002. So as you know, on this program, we like to talk to different officials, elected officials, transportation professionals about mobility, but also important issues that intersect with mobility, which is pretty much every issue under the sun. And with me today is a wonderful guest, State Representative Alina Garcia. And State Representative, thank you for being on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with this wonderful team of the community newspapers.
No, and I appreciate you braving the inclement weather. It's not too bad yet this morning, but I know we've had some flooding and infrastructure. Any flooding that you had to deal with yesterday?
Oh, yes. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, actually. Okay. You know, when I was out and about, you had to be careful. Yeah. You had to be careful. But, you know, we weathered the storm, and I hope everybody that's listening and watching has also weathered the storm.
And you represent District 115, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about the district. What are the different communities that comprise it?
Well, District 115 is a beautiful area. We have Pinecrest, Palmetto Bay, Cutler Bay. Okay. We have the area of the Falls, Jadeland, Westchester. It's a great area, and there's a lot of issues with mobility in that area because some of the residents would like more, others would like less. You know, the corridor on US 1. Some are adamant against having any trains in that direction. Others, want the train. So it's
one thing about transportation is lots of opinions, right? Because listen, everyone, and I say this honestly, everyone's an expert in transportation because we all, sit in traffic every day. We all take transportation.
Yes.
And so we all have our own personal experiences, our own perspectives, and they're all valid.
Yes.
Now you missed one neighborhood, which is the best one in your district, which is the Waterway neighborhood, because that's where I live.
Oh, and well, I never like bring that in with Westchester.
Course, yeah. At one point, I started calling it Eastchester, but it didn't. Didn't stick.
That's a beautiful area. So you live in that area.
I do.
Beautiful area. Was there any flooding in that area?
No, the county did a great drainage project a number of years ago and really fixed a lot of those issues. So at least from what I could tell, we didn't have any issues.
I think Broward County is in a lot worse position than we are here in Miami-Dade County.
No, we've made a lot of investments as a county. Yeah. With the help of the state, I'm sure, over the years. So
a lot of my water projects were yesterday the governor signed the budget for the entire state of Florida, and my water projects didn't make it.
Oh no!
Some of my water, but it's okay. There's always next year.
We keep trying, right?
Yeah, we keep trying.
And those are difficult decisions that elected officials have to make. There's a lot of need, and there are limited funds, and you certainly don't want to tax people to death, and so you have to find.
You can't tax people to death.
Balance.
You have to find a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, and prioritize. So let's talk about the past legislative session and some of the things you worked on.
Well, last legislative session, we tweaked some of the insurance. Some people, their insurance it's going to start coming down, or we have like 12 or 13 companies that have come back into Florida, which is wonderful.
So those reforms worked.
So the reforms, the reforms worked. I think that we have a lot of work to still do. Mm-hmm. I was a proponent of a bill that it didn't even get heard, but it's a bill that says that you only have to have insurance for the amount of money that you owe, and the reason for that bill is mostly for like seniors.
Yeah, right.
That they haven't finished paying off their home. But now their home, which was worth $250,000, it's worth $1 million. So they have to have insurance for $1 million. So that's the issue, and it's unaffordable to a lot of the seniors. So there's still
they're protected on property taxes to some extent with the homestead, but insurance there's
no cap. Insurance there's no cap, and because everybody wants to live in Miami-Dade County because we do have the greatest county in the whole universe. Property value has gone up tremendously. So
And I know that as part of any legislator's role, you're also seeking appropriations. And are there any appropriations that you'd like to highlight that the governor did sign?
Well, actually, the Chabad on 87th Avenue that we're doing, it's a great program. It's called the Friendship Circle, and it's a place for people that have children that have special needs, where you can take your children. It's aside from the schooling, it's like. And they help you with services, and that's a very it's very important that we take care of the ones that can't take care of themselves. And if you have a child with special needs, I think that's where government needs to step in more than anything.
Yeah, it's you can't do it alone.
No,
right? Because it's
no,
such a huge lift. Yeah.
No, and it's people don't know where to go and what to do. You work in government too. You know how difficult it is to navigate.
No, and I know people who either have special needs or have children with special needs, and it really is. I don't want to say it's a burden, because that gives it a negativity, but it requires a lot of assistance.
Right, and people don't know where to go get the services, especially when you're new. When you just had a child or you were just diagnosed.
Great. Well, thank you for doing that.
We're very excited about that project.
And I know you've also tried to support the South Day Trail.
Yes. Unfortunately, I believe that was vetoed.
Yeah. But that's okay. But thank you for trying.
Listen,
and I'm sure it'll keep coming.
We need to come back next year and
that's kind of how it works, right? You just kind of keep doing it. Eventually, you make it.
Most of the time, when you try to pass a law, it doesn't pass, because and it starts getting tweaked, until you have a better product.
Right.
So that's usually what happens, and of course, we don't have unlimited resources.
Of course,
our resources are limited, and we have to, spend it as wisely as we can.
Prioritize,
so, prioritize.
Just like a family.
Exactly like a family. Exactly like a family.
So tell me about your family.
Well, I have 3 wonderful kids, Alani, Aline, and Jorge, and they're married, and they have given me 11 grandchildren. Oh, wow. Yeah,
congratulations.
I have a hair that's in my face and it's driving me crazy. I'm sorry.
Never a problem I have.
Yes. So my grandchildren range from the age of 5 to 20. I have, I have 3 of them in college. One goes to FSU, one goes to Miami-Dade College, and actually 2 of them go to Miami-Dade College, and there's one that's going to be starting now at St. Thomas University.
Oh, great.
Keep
it all in the state of Florida.
I know that I look very young to have 11 grandkids.
This is true, by the way. It's not a joke, it's true.
But they are my life, and that's the reason why I'm involved in government, because I want to ensure that we have, I want to ensure that our county and our state and our country continues to go in the right direction, and that we leave a better society for our families, a better place where they can work, play, and raise their own children. I think that's so important.
Right, and you're blessed to have them. Well, one I guess is in Tallahassee, at least temporarily, but the others are here, which is wonderful.
Well, the one in Tallahassee, when I go up to session,
that's true. Yeah, you're up there half the year. So what am I saying?
I would get to hang out with her. Yeah.
No, one of my fears is, I have 2 young children, 13-year-old girls, and are they going to be able to live in Miami with the cost? The way they are.
I always tell people, with the cost of, purchasing a home, if you cannot afford to purchase a home, you can purchase an apartment. Right. You can afford to purchase an apartment. That's not what you want.
Right. But start somewhere.
You start somewhere, and then you start getting equity. Because prices in Miami-Dade County are going to continue to go up. Right. Miami-Dade County is the new New York. We are the new New York, and there are growing pains. Yeah. And so if you cannot afford a house, you buy an apartment or a townhouse, and then you start upgrading as you go along.
Right.
And I think we can still afford apartments in Miami-Dade County. Well, maybe not, on the water or, because those are a lot more expensive.
Over the past couple of days, everybody had waterfront properties.
Yeah. So, as after COVID, I think traffic got a little bit better because a lot of people started working from home.
Yeah.
And now that summer is here and there's no school, traffic is going to...
What a difference, right?
Yeah, traffic is going to be better. And, you know, and I think that when we get the cars that are automatic, that there's no operator error, I think that that's going to help too. You know, because sometimes you're in the middle of traffic and the person in front of you, you know, is stopped and they're on their phone, you know, they're texting and they're not paying attention to the traffic and the light turns green and this person doesn't move forward. So, you know, it starts bottling up. And I think that with the technology of the cars that are going to, you know, like self-drive,
right.
I think that that's going to help because there's going to be less operator error.
Yeah, and you know, people think it's so far away, but really it's right around the corner. I was in San Francisco for a little bit on my way to wine country, and there were automated cars with no driver or not even someone sitting in the passenger seat on all the streets of San Francisco. I forget the name of the company right now. And I just read that Miami-Dade County is going to introduce one that I think is associated with Amazon. So it's here. Right, they're working out the kinks, but it's going to happen soon.
It definitely is here.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you have that kind of situation, not everybody doesn't need to have a car. Right. 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 Because your car is parked a lot of the time.
Yep.
And
most of the time.
Most of the time, your car is parked. You're not driving the car. So I think that that's also going to help with the transit.
And by the way, if you don't have to own a car, now you have more disposable income for housing, right? So it's all interrelated, right?
Interrelated, absolutely. Yeah. It's all interrelated.
So tell me a little more about your district. Where, what do I want to say here? Are there particular areas of the district that you find where mobility challenges are kind of more pronounced, and what are some of the thoughts on how we might, you know, improve on that? I mean, South Dixie Highway, which runs, I think, along the majority of your district, is every time I'm on there, it's a nightmare. So I can imagine that's one of them.
No, I never. That's a road that I never go on. It's a road that I really try not to go on because it's always congested at any time of the day. And I think that the issue that we have in Miami-Dade County is that people don't want to let go of their cars. Wow. You know, it's and when you go on public transportation, the cost of public transportation is also, you know, even though the county absorbs a lot of the cost and the state, it's still expensive because if you go in your car and you have to leave your car at the train station, you have to pay for parking, and then you have to pay for the train, and then when you get to wherever you're going, that other, you know, so
it's additional cost.
It's additional,
right? Unless you're able to then not have a car and just rely on public transportation, but that's because it's not where it needs to be. That's not realistic, right?
Right. You know, and I think also because in Miami-Dade County, it's very hot. It's not like in New York, you can walk blocks and blocks and blocks and you're good because it's not hot. Yeah. But in Miami-Dade County, it's so hot. Yeah. You know, all year
getting
round.
Hotter. It seems it's hell.
Yeah. And that, I think that's another issue. You know, that people don't want to walk because of that.
Now, prior to entering elected office, you had worked in government for some time. Tell us about some of your background.
Well, you know, I've worked for a lot of elected officials. I've worked in the state house and in the state senate, also for the office of the CFO, also for the city of Miami and Miami-Dade County for commissioners. And so, you know, I understand a little bit of how it works, even though government changes all the time. And there's, you know, and there's new laws all the time. I always tell people it's very important to be involved in government because there's always somebody out there that's going to make a law that's going to affect how you are born, you know, when you die, how you're going to be buried. You know, there's a law affecting each aspect of your life. And the closer, you know, cities, counties, state, you know, the closer government is to you, the more it affects you because it's the everyday kind of thing that it affects you. So it's really important to be involved.
Absolutely.
So I urge everybody to be involved, and I urge everyone to make sure that they go out and vote. Yeah. We're going to have elections coming up August 20th and then November 5th. And, you know, a lot of the people just vote for the top of the ticket. It's important to vote down ballot. And
do your homework.
Be informed. Yeah. Be informed, yes. Do your homework. Yeah. Very important.
Do you find that having worked in those levels of government as a staff person has helped you become a more effective legislator, kind of hit the ground running? I would imagine so, right?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. Because government is complex, you know, it's complex, and unless you understand the way things work, it's difficult to get things done, even if you are an elected official. Right. You know, so when I got to Tallahassee as a state representative, since I have had worked in the state house for so many years, and the Senate, I knew exactly what needed to be done in order to pass bills and in order to get appropriations and to make it rain.
No pun intended, right?
No pun intended. Yeah, yeah. To make it rain. So it's been very important, and I have a lot of experience. I bring that to the table. It's important because you need to be able. Some ideas are great, and you can have a great idea, but how do you make it happen? The logistics of things are very important, and I think that I bring that gift to the table also.
For kids out there who are watching who might be, passionate about public policy or politics, do you have any advice for them on how they should kind of enter that world or get started?
Well, the way that I started was that I volunteered. Yeah. I started volunteering. Actually, I had the chairman of the Republican Party was looking to fill seats in the. We have an executive committee for the Republican Party and an executive committee for the Democrat Party. So whichever party you belong to, if you're not an independent, that would be a good place to start. You can file for a seat and be part of that. The chairman was a friend, and they were looking to fill some seats, and I started working with them to community leaders and asking them, you want to be involved, want to be party, and that's how I started. And then from then I worked on the Bruce Kaplan campaign.
Oh wow, it's a while ago.
For the county when they volunteered. I volunteered for that campaign and for Jorge Rodriguez Chomat. Actually, Jorge Rodriguez Chomat ran for that seat and he lost. And then, so we supported Kaplan, Bruce Kaplan. And those were, that's how I started volunteering for that. And you'd be surprised. There's a lot of opportunity. It's good. It's important to find new people, young people, people that have that fire in the belly that want to change the world and to want to make things right. That's important. And when you are an elected official, you're always looking to see who's around that has that.
Claro.
That
La chispa.
La chispa, the fire in the belly, that they want to change and do good things and is willing to do the work.
Right.
Because it's important that you're willing to do the work. Yeah. This is, people think that politics is glamorous. It's not.
Oh, no. It's hard work. I know it. I've seen it.
There's a lot of grind. A lot of grind.
Yeah. It's really, in many ways, a thankless job, right? It's not like you get paid a ton of money to even do it. You have to leave your family to go to Tallahassee. It's a tough job, especially, when you're talking about the state level because of all the travel and. Right?
Well, Congress is even worse because Congress has session.
That's true.
Year round. At least in the state of Florida, the legislature only has session for 2 months out of the year, and then you have 2 months with committee meetings. So it's 4 months. It's not that bad. And then if you have any special sessions, then you go back. But it's not bad. Okay. The people in Congress, that's year round. That's
you basically move there, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I have actually always wondered about why the session is so short, and
it's the best thing.
And you feel like you're still able to accomplish everything that's needed to be done in that period of time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because since there is a time limit, there's an urgency.
Right.
Right? In Congress, in the federal Congress, there's no urgency because, you're there year round, so why do it today if we can do it tomorrow?
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, it's good to have deadlines.
So, the county also, they're year round. So I find that, and if you have an emergency, you have a special session. So there's a solution for emergencies.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, Miami is very far from Tallahassee, right? And that's, I think, one of the criticisms historically has been that it's so distant from our community that sometimes I think the rest of the state and people in Tallahassee don't understand us. How do you kind of inform them of, what's unique about Miami and our unique needs, especially on things like transportation?
Well, I think that the state of Florida, legislators from the north part of the state, they know what we need. But the problem is that people are selfish and self-centered.
Right.
So everybody wants for my district.
Right.
I want it for my district, for my area. And that's where the leaders come in that say, okay, no, this, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. And you spread it around. You have to spread the wealth of the state of Florida throughout the different counties.
And then I know there's something called the Dade Delegation. So all the legislators, senators, and representatives from Miami-Dade County, I guess you gather from time to time to talk about how you might do things together?
Yes. Our chairperson is Ana Maria Rodriguez, Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez. She's the chair, and the vice chair is Representative Chambliss from Homestead. We gather together. The incoming speaker, Danny Perez, who's a great leader.
From Miami-Dade County.
From Miami-Dade County. And I think that that's going to be very good and very important. We need to have speakers from Miami-Dade County every 6 to 8 years. We need to have a speaker from Miami-Dade County because, when you have a speaker from your area, they also understand the area better and they know the needs that we have.
Claro.
So, the monies, it's easier. It's always a fight with the monies in the state of Florida because, the North wants to take it to the North. And when you have a speaker that's from the North, he has all the people from his community, like, on top of him. And, so it's, the same thing will happen when we have, we're very blessed to have Representative Danny Perez, who's the incoming speaker now for the next session. And I think that will help Miami-Dade County for our projects.
That's great.
And it's important that because the speakers are usually from Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. Those are usually the people that are in the helm of the leadership of the state of Florida. And after, our first Cuban-American speaker, Marco Rubio, he broke the ice. And now, after him, we had Oliva.
Right.
And now Danny Perez is going to be a speaker. And it's important that we continue with that trend because, we do have a lot of members because we have a lot of population in Miami-Dade County, so that our delegation is large. And it's important to band together and to elect future speakers also.
Does the delegation have like 1 or 2 or 3 priorities that you've kind of decided as a group? Like, this is what we're going to try to do collectively?
Our priorities are always, Jackson Memorial Hospital, Miami-Dade College, FIU, those are always our priorities because there's a lot of need always.
Yeah.
And of course, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, all the important
the institutions.
Yes. All the important institutions, Baptist Hospital, HCA Hospital, that serve our communities. Right. We need to, we always ensure that
we get our fair share, right?
Exactly, our fair share. Yeah, absolutely.
And then I would imagine, just given all the rain and talking about flooding, that water is also kind of a major priority for the delegation, right? And making sure that we're addressing
that we address the flooding and the storm water. Yes. That's always very important. And, the Everglades that feed the entire state of Florida, but there's always extra monies to do extra things. So, we just want to make sure that those monies come
back to us.
County. Yeah.
Because we're producing a lot of it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
We send a lot up and we want to get it.
We are a donor county. Yeah. No question about it. We are a donor county.
Are you optimistic about the future of the state and of Miami-Dade County? I mean, do you feel like we're on the right track?
Well, I am a woman of faith. And because I am a woman of faith, I believe that we are going to have a good future. Sometimes we're not on the right track. I think that the taxes in Miami-Dade County are way too much. I think that there's much more that can be done, but I think we have good people, that at least are trying to do the right thing.
Right.
I think that whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I think everyone is trying to do the right thing. It's just we have different ways of getting there. I like to teach people how to fish. I don't want to give anybody fish. You know, I think that for me, that's very important. And I don't want to, I don't want to take your fish and give it to somebody else, because that's your fish. You worked for that fish, right? So
more of a crab guy, but that's okay.
Well, whatever. But you know, that's one of the
sure.
That's one of the things, and I think that less taxes always bring better economies, because when people have money in their pockets, they go out and they spend it, and then the economy flourishes.
Right. And in teaching people to fish, I know education is very important to you, just based on your kind of history and working with the public schools and working with the universities. And so, and they all seem to be doing pretty well, right? I mean, it used to be that a number of years ago, education was one of our Achilles heel in trying to attract businesses. And
well, actually, we just gave the teachers a pay raise.
Yes,
we were the governor last week, and we gave the teachers a pay raise, and we're trying to do the right thing, you know. Public education is very important.
Right, it's the foundation for everything. It's the foundation,
and you know, I'm very proud. Not this last session, but the session before, we passed a bill that the monies go with the child. Mm-hmm. So if you want to send your child to a parochial school, that money that your child has for education will go with your child, and it has nothing to do with what the parents make. It's got nothing to do with your income. It's got to do with the fact that, you know, if the child is going to school, that money goes with the child. And I think that that's a good thing.
That's interesting. So how does that work exactly? Because I hadn't, to be honest, and I pride myself on being informed on these things. I hadn't heard that. And so
they're called universal vouchers.
You have to apply? Is there how do you do that? Okay.
Let's say that you want to go to St. Brendan, right?
Okay.
You go to the school, you apply for the school, and then you apply for the voucher.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you said no income restrictions, nothing.
No income restrictions. Many times you have to pay a little bit out of pocket, but it gives, if somebody wants their child to have a parochial education, now they can, right. Regardless of their income.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're running out of time, but is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Well, I want to thank you for your service to the community, and it's important that we move Miami-Dade County forward, and it's important that people get involved. Get involved, go vote, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and I have to say, speaking of education and getting involved, so my foray into government was in high school. They had something called an executive internship program, and I was really into social studies. So, of course, I asked to be assigned to an elected official or some kind of government agency. And my first internship was with a state representative, John Cosgrove.
Oh my gosh, John Cosgrove.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. Yeah, he passed.
He did pass, in Africa. Like really tragic news.
He had an appendicitis attack, and they couldn't get him to the hospital, and he got septic.
Yeah, but if not for that internship, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So I owe a lot to that and our wonderful, public school system. And so to your point, if you're interested in getting involved, there are amazing opportunities, volunteering, internships, you name it.
Yeah.
And
we have a lot of interns always in my office. I really believe in that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have here on Mobility Matters. I want to thank my wonderful guest, State Representative Alina Garcia from District 115 for being here. I want to thank Miami's community newspapers for hosting us always in this wonderful space. And I want to thank you for tuning in. You'll catch us here again in a couple of weeks, every other Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. with some additional wonderful guests. So please